Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Higgs, coming out here. It's a Wednesday edition. Matt Fargo filling in for Brian Biller on a holiday week. Chip Chirimbes, as always, kicking it with me on a Wednesday. Listen, before we get to our college football free picks for today, do us all a solid. Hit the like button, subscribe, put that notification bell here on the Winner Circle YouTube channel. Be part of the family. Free picks posted daily. We got a live show for Monday Night Football. We got a Football Friday show. We got Saturday NFL and college football pick. We got you covered. I think the picks come up like every day. Can't go wrong with that, except for maybe Monday. Maybe we got the live show. No, we got Monday afternoon picks. What I'm talking about. We do the Monday, and we get college hoops Monday evening going for you there. But these are the free pick show. Last week here, 2-1 on Wednesday. I think I had the loser. I apologize for that. Listen, I'm 9-11 in my college football, which is bizarre. So we'll get to we talk about the records and stuff here at premium stuff at gamblersWORLD.net. I just bring the stuff, but 9-11 in my college football here in the free picks, but on the sites 84-67, 56% for me, not bad. And that's where gamblersWORLD.net, where all of our premium plays is. Chips, Matt's, Doug, Mark, Victor, Kyle. Everybody on the channel, gamblersWORLD.net, our premium plays. Free picks are great, but they're not our best place. And that's just the way it is. 3, 7, 30-day packages guaranteed. We show you a profit, or we credit you back over that period, and you go at it again. We have a leaderboard. You see how we do. Win, lose, always the truth. I say it all the time. College hoops is here, $99 special there. But since it's Thanksgiving, we got a little special going on. It's the old, not really a buy one, get one, but it's a 4-day pass for a 3-day price. You get a 3-day subscription. It's $99 for 3 days. What are we doing here, folks? Take it all the way. Let's go all weekend long. It's a party. Huge slate of college football on Friday as well. Saturday college football. Your Sunday. And what do you want? You want Thanksgiving? You want to sit around and catch all of our 3 packs there for college? Well, there's one college football game, but you got 3 NFL games. Or maybe you want the Monday nighter and some college basketball. That's up to you. What do you want to bet? I'm guessing it's football. Thursday to Sunday, $99. Cannot beat that with a bat. gamblersWORLD.net. All of the premium action. And speaking of premium plays, Mr. NBA, Megabuck, Chip Chirimbes, was not with us yesterday. He was busy with the dumplings at the Cracker Barrel. It was dumpling day. I'm only kidding. But that's what I said yesterday. I saw when I was driving down here, a lot of Cracker Barrels. It says, here, bring in the dumpling. So I always make a dumpling joke. I just think it's a funny word. Anyway, you're my favorite dumpling in Las Vegas, Chip. How was your night? College hoops yesterday, NFL, NHL, NBA. What do you got?
I stubbed my toe in the NBA last night. I dropped my last 2, but we did sweep the board 3-0 in the NCAA. College basketball, of course, is my favorite among everything, and we're off to a great start once again. So swept the board 3-0 in college basketball last night, headed by Auburn. We had Grand Canyon over Stanford, and really looking to pick up the pace as well.
Yeah, you're opposite. I had Stanford yesterday. That was a loser for me in college hoops. Sometimes you get a little loser there. It happens. Mr. Fargo, did you have any we called the Degenerate Tuesday there with the Maction. Did you have any Maction last night? I know sometimes you like to jump into it.
I did not have any Maction last night. When you have 2 games, one of them's playing with Akron, the other one's Kent State. I'm staying off those two teams for sure. So, 1-1 in college hoops, 1917 year to date. Starting to pick up the volume a little bit now that we have more data to go off of, more games and things like that. So I have 3 college hoops games posted for today. Going forward, I'm going to have 2 NFL games for Thursday, possibly the college football game Thursday, 3 games for Friday, and I'm not quite sure about how many for Saturday. And that has typical full Sunday card. So really busy weekend coming up. Busy time for everybody with the holidays, so we have to sneak all this in and get all this stuff done without getting any sleep. And so far, so good. So far, so good with that. That's right on point so far.
Well, I mean, we got the 10 a.m. games here. We got your Paradise Jam. We got all these kind of crazy stuff going on, early action. But then we head out to like Maui. You got the late games all night till 2 in East Coast time. And it's all week long. Even I think next Monday, too, we got some little tournaments as well, finishing up or starting up. A lot of college hoops. College hoops for me, as I said, I went 2-3 yesterday. Matt had mentioned his 19 and 17. Couple games, right? He's starting out slow. Me, on the other hand, 83 and 65. I'm slightly couple more games in college basketball.
A little bit.
56%. I'll take it. That'll be a nice win. College coming up. I have I got 5 college football now, and I have 4 NFL. But I'm probably going to load up a couple more that I like that I haven't moved on already for the weekend. One tomorrow, and I got a few on Sunday there. So again, gamblersworld.net is the premium stuff. Support the channel, the sponsor, and me, Matt Chip, or any of your favorite cappers. Let's go. Have a nice winning weekend. $99 for a 4-day pass. Go get it. But you want the freebies. I get it. We try to win our freebies. Right? I wouldn't come in here and tell you the record if we're 1-2 or 2-1 or 3-0. There's been no offers. So I don't have any wood to knock on. This is more of an imposter desk, but we try not to do those. 2-1 or better on the horizon. Matt Fargo, Notre Dame. They're what? Number top 5 team here, even though who they got that Northern Illinois loss. 7.5-point favorites over USC, and we talked about USC the other day. You come here, let's break up the Pac-12 to go lose at Maryland and Minnesota, and be a 8-4 team for the rest of their careers playing here in the Big Ten. But as a little underdog here, Notre Dame to me, and people are pumping like, oh, they're dark. They got defense. They can do this. I don't know if I'm buying Notre Dame here. I mean, 7.5 on the road for me. 3.5, 7.5. I like favorites in that spot. I'm a favorite bet on that because I think they're trying to grab you with that hook. But I'm not a Notre Dame guy. I think whenever they step up to play elite kind of teams, and USC might have a bad record and they're not the vintage kind of place for themselves, but talent-wise, they still bring in NFL guys. And whenever I see Notre Dame versus NFL-type teams, they're getting run out of games versus Clemson or Alabama, whoever they play. Michigan's, it doesn't make a difference. I might be leaning dog, but Matt, sorry to steal any of your thunder there. It's a 3:30 game on Saturday. Playoff implications for sure for the Irish, depending on their seeding. What do you think here?
Yeah, I'm I'm with you. I like USC in the spot. So Notre Dame came out as the number 7 seed last night for the CFP, which means they'll host a game, which is pretty cool to have a Notre Dame stadium having a playoff game. That's just cool. That's just a cool whole scenario to me anyways. So obviously if they get a win here, they'll definitely be hosting. But I don't like the number. I don't like the fact they played no one this year. They had a nice win over Texas A&M, win over Louisville. And the one thing that really intrigues me in a spot like this is they've covered 7 straight games. And anybody that knows me knows I like going against spots like that. Whether you've won 7 in a row, I like going against a team. If they've lost 7 in a row, that's when I typically load up on them. I think the lines are shaded because of it. I think you would get value. And USC, they became bowl eligible with a couple of wins over Nebraska and UCLA. So they're 6-5. Every loss has been by a possession, and they've only lost 1 game at home. That came against Penn State by just 3 points. And I think Penn State is a better team than Notre Dame. Not much, marginally better. So I think we're getting value with the line. It's a big rivalry. USC, obviously nothing much to play for except a little, mid-tier bowl game, whatever. But they look to play spoiler, and they won't knock Notre Dame out of the playoff, but they'll knock them down a bunch. They just want to get the win here and this regular season on a winning note with 3 straight wins and head into bowl season with a little momentum. And so I like the 7 in the hook here. Let's go Trojans.
USC plus 7.5 for Matt Fargo here on Wednesday. Chip Chirimbes, thoughts on the Irish and the Trojans?
Well, I'm sure that I say 99% sure that I'm not going to be using this game at all. But I think the line is very high with Notre Dame at 7.5. USC is coming off, the rivalry game against UCLA. It's an emotional win. USC's won 5 of the last 6, though. The last 10 have gone 5-5 as far as the numbers concerned. 9 straight wins, like you said, for the Irish after Northern Illinois, 7 straight covers. The Irish have a lot of incentive. I think sentimentally, I would take the Irish here, though I'm not going to use the game. Sorry, Matt. I know you do.
All right.
I don't really like USC, but it's not a strong play for me. But I would play Notre Dame.
Free pick official video, USC Matt Fargo. I really don't want to think of this one, and we'll talk. Let's just talk about the playoffs because we got a couple games of playoff implications coming up. Chip will be doing Texas and Texas A&M. I'm going to do K-State and Iowa State there in the Big 12. The rankings came out yesterday for these guys, and Indiana comes down a little bit in the notch. They drop. And I don't think they should make the playoffs. You're 10-1. They're going to beat Purdue. You're 10-1 in the Big 10. I don't care if you had a weaker side because if this was, they're trying to jump through hoops to keep Alabama just on the outskirts with 3 losses because of you lose to South Carolina, they're a ranked team. Come on, man. Let's stop with this nonsense. Indiana should be there, but we've talked about before the depth of this, and they want to expand these playoffs. How can you? I don't think Alabama is a playoff team this year. Like just because a team gets hot, this isn't the NCAA tournament with 64 teams. Like what are we doing here? Keep expand this to 16 and then to 24 teams. Did you guys think about the playoffs? What do you think about the stuff going on with the? I don't even understand how Tulane could be a bye, but the Big 12 isn't. They're not the same. They're rated. This is worse than like the BCS.
Yeah. It all comes down to the conference champions. They get certain seeds, whatever. It just makes no sense. And what I don't like about it is some of these teams can be penalized for making their championship game. So if you make the championship and you lose, pretty badly or whatever, it can completely knock you out. So. And what you said about India, I think we touched on this last week. They don't, they can't control the schedule. It's made a couple years in advance. They don't know how good teams are going to be, and they've taken care of most everybody. Granted, the Ohio State game was the anomaly, but they beat everybody else pretty handily for the most part. And I think they should be in, and the 3-loss Alabama should not. I think Alabama, what are they, 13? They're right on the cusp still. So it's like, yeah, the SEC bias it's real. I don't like it. I understand it is probably the strongest conference, but at the same time, it's like it seems to me it's too biased right now. Where they're actually thinking about, hey, is Alabama better than Indiana? I don't know. Are they? I don't think so.
Go ahead, Chip. What do you guys say?
Well, what bothers me about it is of the top 4 teams, Ohio State and Penn State would not get buys. Miami would get a bye right now because they play conference champions, and Boise State. And, they're giving buys to conference champions, and you might end up having a conference champion being 7-5. And speaking of what Matt had said about a team getting in a championship game and losing, I can see a scenario where a tiebreaker puts a team in, even though they may have lost to a team below them in the conference. Then they lose the championship game. They've got 3 losses, and another team sitting with a better record has beaten a team that was a conference champion. They're in and they're out. So, I think it has some flaws. I think they'd be better off with 8 than 12, to tell you the truth. Teams coming in with 3 losses to have a shot to win the national championship, to me doesn't sit well.
And again, record-wise, Indiana's better. Do I think Alabama's better players and would probably beat them on a head-to-head? Probably. I'm probably in Alabama there. If they put them in a matchup, I'm sure on neutral field, Alabama's favored in that game.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether by something, I'm not a number creator. I wouldn't say it's a field goal or I have no idea. Alabama would be favored, but the fact that they're in 6th place in the SEC and are on the cusp of what about the other 5 SEC teams? Why aren't they getting in there? Like the 3 teams that all beat them. It's like I said, Ohio State could probably be the 2nd best team right now behind Oregon. Like Oregon's looks pretty good. They're undefeated and they beat Ohio State, and Ohio State's run up on pretty much everybody they played. I don't know. And I'm a Miami guy. I got the Canes flag hanging, but you lost. You should have lost to Virginia Tech. You should have lost to Cal. I mean, you got 3 losses. You have to get a bye? I don't get it. Again, bring back – I'd rather go and my U got screwed out of that BCS. They beat Florida State, but yes, Florida State somehow gets into a championship game. I don't understand that. But this is
right. So based on my numbers, Alabama will be favored by 6.5 over Indiana on neutral field.
Wow.
So yeah, and my numbers aren't perfect, but they're within a point usually. So yeah,
as I say, like I was thinking probably like 4.5, I guess, but I don't know. Well, that's a 5-minute rant on why I hate the BCS expanded playoffs. I don't want more teams in the NCAA tournament. The playing game's a joke. First board nonsense. Get out of here. Stop it. All right. Texas A&M. They take football serious here, right? Me and my wife got a big argument. They got practice all week. It's high schools. They're in the playoffs. They play Friday. There's practice on Thanksgiving till noon, and there's a team Thanksgiving. My wife's like, he's not going to that. We have our own family, like – they take it serious down here. A&M, I think they're going to take this game serious. They are 6-point doggies here against the big boys, the Longhorns, total 48.5. Boy, I would have loved – and I had Auburn last week, but I would have loved to see A&M kind of pull that one out and then somehow, knock off Texas and sneak into the SEC championship or the playoffs or something. I don't think it's a flat spot because of what happened last week. I think you saw the 2.5. It kind of told you who the odds maker thought would win that game, and it was a wild one. Home dog, Chip. You know where I'm leaning on. I'm leaning on a home dog here, but this is your game. 6 and a 48, or 5.5 and a 48.5 here. Texas and A&M College Station on a Saturday night should be a good one. What do you think?
I think I'm very happy that Auburn did what they did last week because they were my megabuck play of the week. Brings our college record up to 11-2. I don't want A&M to sneak in last week, and I was having heartbreak and throwing up before that game even went to overtime, blowing a 21-0 lead. But I think the problem there is that A&M had a look ahead to this game against Texas. But are they talented enough or good enough to stay with this Texas club? Number 2 in the nation in total defense, allowing 247 yards a game. A&M allows 350 yards. There's a huge advantage there for the Longhorns. And A&M is allowing 21 points a game. I think this game goes over a total with Texas averaging 449 yards a game. These two teams, Texas and Texas A&M, haven't met since 2011, and to me, that's a sin considering the match. I mean, these two rivals should be playing each other every year, but college football has changed the face of their scheduling, of course, with all these big conferences and what's going on. But I'd look for this game to go over the total. A&M 8-3. I think they had to look ahead here, and only 3-8 against the number. And I think, like I said, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think they're going to have their offenses ready to go.
All right, Chip Chirimbes official play for the video, over 48.5, A&M in Texas. Matt, what are your thoughts on this one here with Chip's total? Or maybe you got something different on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really a big totals guy, but in this case, I see where he's coming from. Like the last 2 games, ever since the quarterback, Marcel Reed, got put back in, he's had 2 great games in a row. They put up 43 and 38 against Auburn and New Mexico State. But, yeah, I obviously have a tougher time with the Texas defense. If A&M wins, they're playing Georgia in the SEC championship, so it's a huge game for them. I think I would lean towards A&M based on the fact that they're coming off that loss. They might have been looking ahead. Obviously, it's a big rivalry. They haven't covered their last 3 games, which again goes against the streak that I like to play on or play against. And it's a short number, and I think Texas is going to be the public play here. But I would have a lean towards Texas A&M. Probably not going to play it, but it should be a very entertaining game. And this has always been a great rivalry in years past. I'm glad it's going to be getting renewed ever since Texas, got back into the same conference. So hopefully they'll be able to play every year. But yeah, I would lean to the over, and I would lean towards A&M for sure.
There you go. Yeah, A&M left for greener pastures, and now Longhorns have joined them in the SEC. You mentioned they dropped the last 3 favorites in all those games, by the way.
Yeah,
under a little different. But listen, I like them as a little dog here. The only team. Do you want to say the comparable team they played was Notre Dame, and they started as a dog there, and they flipped to a favorite at home. I know they lost to South Carolina, but again, you go on a road in college football. We see teams lose. That's like college basketball. So you go on the road. I talked about Purdue college basketball. I don't know when it was, a little while ago. As good as they won 36 games last year, they played 10 games on the road and went like 7-3 or something, like true road games. So Texas on the road here, I don't know. Chip, well, listen, it's Chip's game. He's got the over 48.5. Who cares? It was me ho-hum over what I think about this game here. So I'm going to count it towards the video. Chip Chirimbes, over 48.5, Texas A&M. Matt Fargo is going USC plus the 7.5 versus Notre Dame. Free picks here on the Winner Circle YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Premium picks from Matt, Chip are over at gamblersWORLD.net. 3/7/38 packages guaranteed. And we got the buy one, get one. So it's a 4-day pass for $99. Get it. Thanksgiving. Loaded Black Friday games. You got NFL on Friday too. Saturday, Sunday. Plus if they do NBA, college hoops, or hockey, we got everything's included in that. Make the smart money move, people. All right. I can't come over and help you out and hit the buttons to get you there. You can figure it out yourself. I got faith in you. Now, do we have faith in Kansas State versus Iowa State? Oh man, these cats. This is another Big Ten team I took a future on. That looks like it's going to wet the bed over to 9.5. A straight up loser there because they're 8-3. They're not going to get there because bowl games don't count towards totals for the newbies out here. First time they're an underdog all year. You think they'd have more than 8 wins and they have 3 losses because you lose at Arizona, who somehow is in contention to win the conference. Houston, you guys lose at Houston? That's what we're doing? Wildcats. And BYU blew your doors off when BYU was playing good. I look at this as a spot for the Wildcats to win this. I'm taking them. They're getting a field goal, 2.5. Money line them up here, 110, 115, whatever the price may be. You got revenge for last year's game. I got a dog here. That's the first time they're a dog all year. Obviously, they're a good team. Team's going to lose. We mentioned losing on the road before with A&M going to South Carolina. You're playing a good team. You could lose on the road. I understand that. But Iowa State, to me, started out really good. You had the crazy Utah game, which they get a win out of, little debauchery in that one. You lost to Kansas on the road there. You had the last second loss to Texas Tech. This is a team not playing their best kind of ball coming into play. You're kind of getting it done where you're playing with fire, which is how you end up 8-3 instead of 9-2 or 10-1 and stuff like that. I'm going to go Wildcats here. Again, first time as a dog. They're not even a full field goal, which used to be the common home field, home court, whatever you want to call it. 3 was kind of the standard unless you're really somewhere fabulous. Give me Kansas State here to get the revenge, get a win. They're not going to give me my win total, but hey, K-State plus the 2.5 if you want that. I'm going to go money line official for the show here, plus 115. Matt, thoughts on this Big 12 battle? Playoff implications probably too as well with the way things are going.
Yeah, I don't have a great feel for this game. Like the Kansas State loss to Arizona State, you think that should never happen, but they're playing really good right now. ASU, the loss to Houston, that was a bad loss. I fully admit that. I mean, they were favored by 13 in that game and losing outright. That should never happen. And then you said the BYU game, whatever. But I think they've had probably a very disappointing season for their standards. I mean, I think they came in as one of the top 2 preseason favorites to win the conference.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of a big win over Cincinnati. Yeah, I mean, it's a short number. It really is, and it's the first time they have a dog, but it is short. I mean, I'll back your side here, but I don't love it. But I don't love the other side either. So this is a tough one for me to call.
It is. You look at the spread and you're like, what's that about?
Right.
You think they have their own destiny, but then you look at the way it works out, even though, like, again, I don't understand how the tiebreaker – it's a bizarre tiebreaker because they've actually beat a team, but they might not win. I don't understand the other team wins. I'm not smart enough. I can't figure that out. Way too much nonsense involved in that. But Chip, what do you think on the K-State Iowa side here? Iowa State.
I agree with Matt. I think it's a really tough call. Awful short number here, 2.5 for a home team. They have a better record. They're 9-2. They've covered the last 4 against Kansas State, has Iowa State, and 8 of the last 10 meetings. And the number is so short, it looks to me like they're trying to help you take the Cyclones. And I don't think that's a side. I think most likely I'd be on Kansas State if I was to play the game. I have no great interest in it. I can tell you that right now. Like Matt, I just don't see my big advantage. But that number being so short does raise an eyebrow here. I'll take Kansas State.
Kansas State with me. Matt sort of agrees with it. Again, it all comes down to you look at that number.
Right.
That was part of me, revenge spot for me, and I just think K-State's a better team overall. K-State official, we're going to money line it up here. It's plus 115. We all agree on that one. So sometimes we all agree, sometimes we differentiate. But again, for the free pick record keeping, over 48.5 Texas A&M. Notre Dame, USC. Matt is taking the Trojans plus 7.5 as a home doggy. I'm taking a little bit of a road puppy. Money line here. Kansas State Wildcats plus the 115. Again, these are the free picks. Primos over at gamblersworld.net. Chip Chirimbes, it is the 27th of November. I know tomorrow is probably a lot of stuff happens on Thanksgiving type days. But what about today? Anything good besides people going back to their hometowns and hitting the old local bars to hook up with their high school sweethearts?
There are a few things on this date, which has happened November 27th. In 1947, Joe DiMaggio got the MVP by 1 vote over Ted Williams when one of the Boston sports writers who did the voting at the time refused to even put Ted Williams on the ballot, and he lost by 1 point. An interesting thing, in 1956, Paul Hornung was the number 1 draft pick at this day. Actually, he won the Heisman Trophy over Jim Brown, the only player to win the Heisman with a losing record, play on a team with a losing record. And I don't think this would have happened today. I think it was a sign of the times that Jim Brown did not get the Heisman Trophy that year because he probably was the most outstanding player. But Paul Hornung of Notre Dame received the Heisman. And I have to come back with this. In 1941, Bobby Riggs, you guys remember him in the great battle against Billie Jean King? Well, we lost to Billie Jean that day. But, in 1941, Bobby Riggs was suspended from the U.S. Lawn Association for play. They disclosed he was suspended because of financial gain. He was fixing matches in 1941, was suspended at that time and became a pro. And there was a lot of rumors when he played against Billie Jean King that he was sucking everybody in and that he threw the match and bet against himself. And I wouldn't be surprised because Bobby Riggs was some kind of hustler, that's for sure. So that's involved in gambling and fixing of events, which we are always concerned about. And out of state, by the way, in 1917, the NHL was formed. 2 teams from Montreal, the Maroons and the Canadiens, and they had the Toronto Arenas around at that time. But those 2 teams from the original Canadian Hockey League, an NHL that is, the Canadiens and, believe it or not, the Ottawa Senators are still here.
So they played twice. Oh no, he beat some woman, Margaret Court, and then he played Billie Jean King the next time.
Yeah.
Oh, he had to be looking at a payday. Oh, of course, in Houston, had a big oil money coming in. He's probably like, yeah, whatever, give me the money.
He was a hustler. He said he'd serve sitting down, put a chair on the court, and the women were going crazy at the time because the sexism then was much stronger than it is now, an attitude toward women and women's sports. And he just he annihilated Billie Jean until the match. That was.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he was what, 50 something. She was. I'm
not sure, but he was certainly. He got everyone's attention, regardless.
I guess when your last name is Riggs, you have to be somewhat shady, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 1941, the guy's what, 18, 28, 38. So he's 25 years old, betting on himself. And there was a battle of the sexes 3, apparently.
Yeah.
Martina Navratilova and Jimmy Connors. Jimmy Connors won both of those. Caesar's Palace. It's at Caesar's Palace when you used to have stuff outside there. Nice. There you go. Interesting. Bobby Riggs. I didn't know the guy. No. knowing that now, he definitely threw that match. I don't care.
When I realized that he was suspended in 1941, that was my first thought.
100%.
There were rumors going around at that time that that he went in the tank, and I said no. But I
She beat him
6'4",
6'3", 6'3". He wasn't even like, come on. Oh my goodness. 20 grand. Yeah.
Yeah. How much you make on the
The
side?
challenge here says Riggs challenged Billie Jean King, but she declined. And Margaret Court, who he played, I guess, the first time, said, "I'll give you $20,000, more than she earned for winning both of the 73 Australian and French Open women's singles titles." She had, man, how times have changed for the.
Yeah, because nowadays Navratilova would have to play on the men's side.
She got $20,000 for winning the Australian and French Opens combined. That'll be another show, folks. We'll go over how tennis payouts have increased. Anyway, all right, let's get out of it. We've gotten off the rails. We probably lost people 7 minutes ago. Anyway, these are for Saturday. Listen, happy Thanksgiving if you're going to watch this when we pump this up. Gentlemen, have a good holiday. We'll see you next week. Folks, like button on the way out, and we will see you again. Take it easy, everybody.